I have been away for about a week, handling some things behind the scenes. One thing that doesn't change is discipline. Discipline doesn't care about motivation. Discipline doesn't care about instant gratification. Lockin, Mystic, in the world first. I was dealing with some technical issues and everything, and it was completely out of my control. And this is also another reference that I always talk about and say that you can't control everything that happens outside of you, but you can absolutely control your energy, your actions, and how the way you go about it. But nothing changed. I was still putting in work. Of course, the codes and the daily seeds that I plant wasn't being planted at that time during the time period. But what I have noticed is a lot of people do look for instant gratification when it comes to thinking that you're going to be in a certain position when you haven't done the work for a good amount of consistent time for the results to actually show for themselves. And I see it, and I experienced it often. Not too long ago when I was at work, and this one dude, he came up in there. He was all asking because I had results. I put in a lot of amounts of work to achieve my physique, and it didn't happen overnight. It's consistent effort on a day-to-day basis to achieve what I have achieved, and it's really more so due to my inner world embodiment, because that's exactly what I currently embody. But back to what I was mentioning that was happening. And the dude asked me, because he seen how my physique is and how the way it looks and the work I put in. And he said something in the mentions in the lines of how do I get my arms to get that pump look? And I looked at him and I'm just like, a pump look. A pump look only lasts for a good 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't last that long. And here's the thing that most people don't really want to hear is that being disciplined and consistent is boring. It's not glamorous. It's not something that you really is as seen as like very, very exciting or anything. But it's something that you show up daily for, regardless of how you feel, regardless in the mood that you are in. You still put in the work to get the results that you got. Because some people might just think it's luck, when all reality, it's just you just showing up, regardless of the adversity that you are dealing with. I was all telling them like, get your protein in, making sure you get enough calories, eating healthy fats, carbs, cutting out more processed foods, a good training program, be consistent for a good amount of time. Those are things that people don't usually want to hear, but it's the truth. And I had other people come up in the store and ask about like fat burners, do they work? And truth be told, I never had to really use them. So I don't really have much experience with it. And somebody asked me, older dude, he came up in there and instead of him actually just talk about going to the gym, like usually you would do if you're trying to be in better shape, be healthier, and have that type of lifestyle, he resorted to asking me, what can I use to put on muscle without going to the gym? And it just reminded me how so many people want to skip steps and so many people are looking for instant gratification. And it's like that where they just want to take shortcuts. And some of this is due to social media and how it is. And it got people so caught up in thinking that you need to be in a certain position and thinking that you can skip step, thinking that thinking that you can skip steps when in reality it doesn't work like that. Many things that you see online is not true. It's not real. And usually it takes time. It really takes time for something to really show results for the work you put in. The thing about it is you got to be consistent. You got to stay disciplined and stay true to the vision that you already see. That is true. But how long can you endure of the constant doubts, the constant reminders that are you doing the right thing? Because the thoughts is going to creep up in your mind. It's going to have you down yourself, questioning if what you are doing is even the right decision. And all reality, man, it starts with an internal shift that you have to make within yourself. It's important to always have your identity within you, not outside of you, because any situations outside of you could change. And I'm a perfect example of that. I talked about this, um, just I just talked about it earlier in the video. You can't predict and change every situation that's going on outside of you. But let me tell you, one of the things that you really can control is the way how you go about it. What can you learn from it? Can you still see the bright things, and overall the information and the knowledge that you're learning from the process that you're currently going through? And I also want to mention this too as well, man. I had people that I grew up with and people that I know personally that was taking steps in the ways of selling drugs, scamming, robbing, to try to get put in the position financially wise to get them ahead and not try to go through the whole system of working a job, And I don't completely blame them for that, because the corporate world and how it really is and how it's really set up and how it's run, the jobs and how it is, I don't completely blame them for that. But there's always another way, and there's nothing wrong with having a job, but there's nothing wrong with actually working and um and providing, of course, for your family and so forth. But there's a difference between you attaching yourself to to the system that it wants you to keep that wants to keep you in a holding and never wants you thinking outside the box. The world rewards results, but discipline is built before results appear. Most people quit before they expect. Um, Most people quit because they expect immediate feedback. Consistency feels boring until it compounds. Health, fitness, skills, and character all require delayed gratification. The process eventually becomes the reward. Don't cut corners. Just stay active and be conscious of what you're doing. Be in alignment. And of course, you want to take action, but no rushing and not trying to move with so much rush to get to a place that you know will take time to get there. Because the information, the process of you learning what it really takes is the process. Well, it will teach you a lot along the way. And once you actually get there, you will know how to actually keep it because you've been through the steps, you've been through the process. If everything paid off instantly, everybody will be disciplined. The real test is continuing when the reward hasn't arrived yet. I'm gonna pin my ancient codes down in the comments or leave it in the description. One of the two. Like, comment, subscribe. We forever lock in. All give praise to the Most High. Send peace and love.